Today we are going to learn how to search for an apartment. We're going to use the website apartments.com. I really like this website because it is easy to navigate. It's easy to find what you need. It's easy to use their filters and to narrow down your search to exactly what you're looking for. On this first page, it gives you an option of where you want to search for. And we're going to look at Chicago, Illinois, as just an example of how to search for an apartment. Now you can search for an apartment, a condo, a house, a townhouse. These are all different options of places that you can live. A condo would be two different living spaces in one house. And so you'd share the house. It's like a split into house. Okay, so we'll look at all the different types of houses and apartments all together. And we'll look at in Chicago, and this min rent is short for minimum that you want to pay for your rent. If you do not want to look at the options that are lower priced, you could set a minimum rent of say like $700 because you only want to look at a minimum price of $700. But we're not going to set a minimum rent because we're going to look at the cheaper options. But max rent would be your maximum that you would like to pay for the rent. So the highest price you want to pay. So we're going to say $1,200 would be our maximum price per month. And then the number of beds or bedrooms that you would like in the house. So your bedrooms, this does not include a living space, a living area, a living room. This is just your bedrooms, what's set aside as a separate bedroom. So you can choose 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, or a studio. A studio apartment has no bedrooms. It is just one big room. That's it. So we're going to look at 1 bedroom apartments. And baths. How many bathrooms do you want there to be? We'll just look at 1 bathroom. Okay, so here's the city of Chicago. And it begins giving us our options, but right now it's listing 781. So we need to narrow down our search even more. And they have several pretty cool ways of doing this. So we can click on their filters. So in our filters here, we can choose a place that is pet friendly. This is if you have a dog or a cat, which are pets, and you want them to live in the apartment with you. You need to find a place which is pet friendly. They allow pets in the apartment. Interior amenities. If you remember before when we looked at hotels, we talked about amenities. These are the extras that are included in the place. So interior is another word for inside. So what is inside the apartment or the house that is extra, that is included into the price? You can have air conditioning. You can have a unit washer dryer, which means you have a washing machine and a dryer, which is another machine which dries your clothing. A dishwasher, which is a machine that washes your dishes. And wheelchair access. We talked about this when we looked at hotels. Some of the rooms in hotels were wheelchair accessible. A wheelchair can fit in to the room. There are no stairs into the apartment. So if you need wheelchair access, then you would check here. Community amenities, these are things in the apartment complex or in the community, what would be in the courtyard and such, those amenities that are there outside of the apartment. That there's parking, place to park your car. There's a fitness center, a place to go to the gym to work out. There's a pool to go swimming. There's an elevator. If you're up on a higher floor, you have an elevator which takes you up. You do not need to walk the stairs. So those are some things that you could choose to filter your search. Some different filters too, like we talked about on the first page of the website. You could choose apartments, houses, condos, townhomes. We're going to look at apartments and condos because we don't want to look at houses, since generally in a house you would need to take care of your yard yourself, which is the grass, the lawn, the outside area, and generally houses are more expensive. So we're going to start our search by just looking at apartments and condos. Specialties, if you're a senior, we talked about seniors when we did our flight searches. Seniors are people over the age of 65. And so you have special discounts. You pay less if you're a senior. Another specialty might be if you are military. You served in the military, in the Army, in the Navy, the Marines, etc. You serve in the military, again, you may be able to get a discount. If you're a student, a university or college student, again, you might qualify for a special discount. Corporate means you work for a larger corporation. Some corporations that we already looked at in last section were Verizon or Cricket. We looked at Orbitz, that is a corporation. So if you are a corporate worker, then you are employed by a corporation, and there may be from some of these corporations a special discount too. Income restricted. Income restricted means that you are under the poverty level. So there's a certain level, both in state or nationally, that if you make less money every year than that poverty level, that number that they give, then you qualify to live in income restricted housing. That just means that the government provides the housing for a cheaper price to people who are considered to be poor. And then you can narrow your search by its rating. If people have written reviews to be 5 stars or 4 stars, this is just like we've done before previously, you can filter your search by its rating. A keyword search, if there's a certain name that you know that you want, you've heard about a certain name of a apartment complex and you can't remember all of it, but you remember one word, like it had lake in the name. So you might type that into your keyword search and then it would give you just the apartments that have the word lake in them. But this is the one that I want to narrow our search by, which is square feet. If you remember, in America, we do our measurements not by meters, the metric system, but we use feet and inches. So there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So if you look at your foot, depending on how large your foot is, it's 12 inches or 1 foot is about a little bit bigger than probably what the size of your foot is. So we measure an apartment by square feet. So it's good to choose a minimum amount of square feet. If you have an apartment that's 400 square feet, that is quite small. That would probably be just a one-room apartment. It would be very hard to have a two-room apartment, maybe very tiny rooms. I would say 600, 700 would be a little more comfortable size. So we'll do a minimum of 600 square feet. If you get into 1,200 square feet, then you're talking about a 3-room apartment. But since we're just looking at 1-bedroom apartments, we'll set our minimum at 600 square feet. We don't want a place smaller than that. So we can click Done when we want to set these filters. Now you can see our choices at 466 rentals is filtered it or narrowed our search. But we do need to filter it more. So now let's look at this polygon tool. The polygon tool they have on here is quite interesting. A polygon is a shape. It's a shape that you can make it any shape that you want. It's not a circle. A polygon is any shape. So basically, we choose this, and then we can draw the area with this pencil, draw the area that we specifically want to stay in Chicago. So say that we only want to stay on the north side of Chicago. So we can draw our polygon in this whole area. And we'll narrow our search only to that area. This takes us down to 188 rentals. Now, if we'd want to even narrow it down further, we could plan our commute. So say that I know that I'm going to work at a certain place in Chicago. And say my address is 5047 North Lincoln Avenue in Chicago. That's the place where I'm going to work. I will narrow my travel time to 30 minutes by bicycle. Say I plan to ride a bicycle. So I could say driving there, taking public transportation there, walking there, biking there. I could choose any of those of how I will travel to my workplace, and I only want it to take, it could be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You could choose how long you're willing to travel. And it calculates this for you. So if I'm doing that, I say I'll ride a bike for 30 minutes from my work location. These are all the places that I could stay. 238. There we have on our north side of Chicago.
You are on your way to finding the right apartment for you. Now, there are many options of apartments. And something that we'll talk about a little bit next time is renovations. Now, to renovate is to make something better. To repair is to fix something. So, when we're looking at apartments, and you might ask the question about, have you done any renovations to the place? It's asking the person, how have you made it better? Because we all have lived in a house, an apartment, and in these places, things break. So repairs are quite common. We always need to do repairs. But renovations, you don't always need to do them. So you always want to ask, what kind of renovations has the owner done? Because this will give you an idea of how well do they take care of their property.